Good evening, everyone. It is Sunday, the 3rd of December today. I was supposed to have started my chemotherapy already, but when I went along for the consultation this week, they decided I wasn't well enough. I managed to somehow, even though I've been at home a lot of the time, I've managed to somehow pick up the flu. I'm a lot better now, but I didn't leave the house since Monday evening until Saturday morning, and I was just pretty much on the sofa the entire time. Feeling a lot better now, but it's been a really horrible week. I had the operation to get my Port-a-cath fitted, which is what you can see here. I've got a bandage where they had to make an incision in my neck there, and then just here, about 4 fingers down from my collarbone, there's 4 fingers, not 3. You can see there's a little mark there. That's basically a button that sits under my skin. That's where the drugs can be administered through here. Apparently they can get blood samples and antibiotics and things in there quickly if they need to, and it just saves my arm, because as you know, after having lymph nodes removed on my right, the only arm they can use is my left. And when I had the operation, they do it under local anaesthetic. They sedate you, but you're not knocked out, so you are aware of what's going on the whole time. They had to fit a cannula, and they tried on my hand, and I think that's cannula number 5 in the last 2.5 months or less, and my vein just went, nah. Then the nurse was like, I'm really sorry, but this cannula's not working, we're gonna have to try again. I've developed a small phobia of cannulas, so the second time they tried to put one in, they were going to do it in my elbow, and they had to lie me down and hold my hand, and I was very, very upset. But they managed to get it in my elbow. The bruising is non-existent. They did such a good job, and they were so gentle. The staff were really nice. Basically with this, as you can see, there is, you might not be able to see it, but under the skin there's a tube that goes up here and it goes over my collarbone. That's been the most sore bit, really, and it goes over and sort of through that way to get to one of my more primary veins. And it was a very strange experience having that fitted. I mean, in the long run, it's got less risk of infection because of it sitting under the skin, but they had to obviously make a big incision just underneath it to get it in there, so that's why I've got the bandages. I've got soluble stitches in there too, so that I don't have to go back in and have the stitches removed. This will sit in now for the remainder of my chemotherapy. And yeah, having it put in was a very interesting experience because I was incredibly nervous, and so the nurse in charge of giving me the sedative drugs he said afterwards he gave me so many because I was so anxious and uptight. But yes, they sort of set a little tent up with a blue screen basically, so you can't see what they're doing, and although you're sedated and they give you local anaesthetic injections, you can still sort of feel everything that's sort of going on. And this bit was still really sore, even though I was, like I said, under a lot of drugs and things. That really hurt, getting it sort of up over the collarbone, but it's done now, and it's fine. I can move around. It's still a little bit stiff, but it's fine. One other thing I thought I'd mention before I start my chemotherapy is some of the precautions that the doctors have actually taken, because chemotherapy can cause permanent infertility or can be temporary, but in some cases it also brings on the onset of the menopause early, which at 29 you kind of hope it's not going to happen, but it is a possibility amongst many other things. But because I haven't had a family and I'm 29, they gave me the option for egg preservation. So while I was going through having my mastectomy done, I had been sent to an IVF clinic. So The doctors had applied for funding on my behalf, so that, because it's not something the NHS provides, but you could get funding if you are, a cancer victim, etc. And so during October, I went through the whole process of having to give myself injections to stimulate egg growth in my ovaries sort of every night. It was a bit of a surreal experience. And then towards the end of October, I had my, the egg collection, which was again under another general anaesthetic, where they managed to take, I think it was 21 eggs, and so they're all now sitting in liquid nitrogen for when I want to start a family, if I do, and if I can't conceive naturally. So it's great that I have that option, though. I'm really sort of grateful that I've had the chance to actually do that. So it takes a little bit of stress off my brain, because aside from all the sort of the obvious physical symptoms, I suppose, of chemotherapy, like the hair loss and things, it's more internally that you would worry. And I do know a couple of people who haven't been able to have children because of the drugs that they're administered through cancer. So yeah. This, as I said, this Monday I'm having these checked. Tuesday I'm having my consultations, so any questions that I might have for the nurse, and also things that they're going to tell me, sort of, I guess they'll give me a timeline, explain all the pros and cons of the chemotherapy drugs, and we'll go from there, and Wednesday's the day. So that's all I've got for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you guys soon.